success requires sacrifice. Doesn't matter what you're doing in life. If you want to be really successful at it, there's going to be things that you have to sacrifice. You're going to get made fun of. People are going to think you're crazy. You know, you can give into that, and you can kind of go along with the norm and do whatever everybody else is doing, or you can stick by what it is you know you want to do. So today is a upper day. I'm training 4 days a week. So in order to get frequency, I have a push and a pull day beginning of the week. Today is upper, so it's mostly pull because back is my weak body part. But I finish out with some rear delts, some chest, some side delts, just to touch up from what I've already done in the push day earlier this week, and then get more volume on my back. Chest supported stuff is going to be one of the most important movements for a bodybuilder's back. Me and Jordan were discussing it earlier, and like our shoulder blades need to be able to move forward. So we can use this to make that happen, to force it to happen with weights and open positions up. Like, we don't need to create mobility through going and stretching for an hour. We can create mobility through just doing our movement patterns through their full range of motion and using the weight, creating strength in weak positions. So movement like this is like vital when it comes to back training. This is the only non-lat movement that I do today. All the rest of the back movements are lat. So it's just manipulating volume to the areas that I need the most. And then working on better execution, like the things that I was saying there, of making sure that I'm opening things up, making sure that I'm putting myself in the position that muscle can now look better, right? So like, can I put my arm overhead better? Can I open my shoulder blades better? Can I present the tissue that I have while adding more tissue, right? So a lot of times bodybuilders get really restricted and they can't get their arm over the head and they start to have problems opening up the shoulder blades. So it's like, you put on 10 pounds of muscle, but now you can't present it, so what the fuck does it matter? Like, if that 10 pounds of muscle makes me this immobile, just like big mass of muscle, it does nothing for us when it comes to actually getting on stage and trying to beat the guy next to you. It's like when I grab that bar, I'm gonna think about pushing my hand down. Okay. Right? So like, if you're here doing both, I'm literally thinking about like, if I was gonna yank it down like that.
Slam my kneecap,
basically. Exactly. Because then you can already, like, I could be here and pull my hands down. I'm like, oh, I'm creating tension, right? The thing that you can do where it's not gonna take away from output is like, use your warm-ups to almost overdo the movement. And then from there, as you get heavier, you can lock it down a little bit because you've created a better position to begin with. We're gonna push up until May, and then we're gonna run straight into prep in May. It's the first time I've done open since like 2017, and I'll actually be big. Now the next part to it is figuring out how to keep that connection on the eccentric. That's the part that everybody shits the bed on, including myself, because it's like, all you're trying to do is get it back down, right? But the thing you can do with your lat patterns here is like, when you go to push it back, push it. Push that weight away from you, I guarantee your lat lights up. You're gonna be like, what the fuck? So for anyone who's not familiar with prime equipment, this one here gets lighter as I pull, which this is a weaker position. So all we're trying to do is create more grinder reps The grinder reps is what's really gonna help us put tissue on and create new tissue. So I want to be able to get extra grinding reps. Could I put it on the bottom and make progression? Sure. You can put it anywhere you want. You don't have to have this dogmatic view that you can only use certain pegs. As long as it's something you can progress and get the reps that you need out of it, go for it. If I'm trying to teach someone something and they have to go, let me go look up what that word means. Let me go find the dictionary and how this word plays a role in how I'm supposed to do a better pull down. Like, did we even do anything other than making ourselves sound cool? So like, they might be really interested in what it is you're trying to say, and then you lost someone because you just confused them with your fucking dictionary shit. At the same time, it's a sales tactic. Like, you make people think that you have a secret because you have these big words to tell them, and now they think that they have to buy from you because you have the secret, you know? What's up, Lee?
What's up, man?
How are you? Good to see you.
Brother?
I'm doing great, doing great.
You're getting big.
I'm trying.
You're putting on some size.
Trying to catch up, yeah.
That's cool.
I think since the last time I've been out here, like, he's got weapons.
He's got 3 guns now.
He's got, yeah, I was about to say he's got guns and guns.
Use it to shoot the ball for the dog.
So he's going to keep the shoulder down, right? And then he's going to engage from where he's trying to pull from, which is these 2 areas here, versus getting to the top, letting the shoulder go slack, and then jerking back down, right? That's what everyone wants to do. And then they wonder why they don't have it back, right? So he sets himself in the position. He's not stretching from the shoulder because this is not what we're after. He's keeping the shoulder down, stretching from the elbow, letting the tissue open, and then pulling back into it. So what I cued for him is to lift his sternum, kind of arc the spine. What you're gonna see from me is the opposite. So I'm actually gonna drop the sternum, keep my rib cage over my pelvis, and my spine stays neutral. So I'm here pulling down into lat, driving elbow forward, whereas he's pulling out with the elbow into the upper back. So like, you can manipulate what it is you're targeting on the same piece of equipment. Like, we're gonna circle back around and I'm gonna do a 2-arm pull down at the end of the session on the same piece of equipment with just minor variation. So same thing here with the shoulder. Like, I could get to the top, let that shoulder relax and then pull, right? But that part right there is loss of tension on the tissue I'm trying to target. So instead, we get here, keep my shoulder down, and then that stretch comes from my elbow, comes from here. So that shoulder stays in position the whole time, and then I'm driving elbow forward. And what you'll see a lot as well is, like, towards the end, because the trap is stronger and it can move weight, most people don't know how to actually use their lats, they'll start to pull back into it, right? Versus that elbow trying to drive forward. So I'm always trying to think about keeping my elbow away from my shoulder. I think mind muscle connection is one of the most important aspects of it, because like quads, chest, shoulders, I can look at a mirror and I can see them working. With back, like, unless you have some elaborate mirror setup, you can't see it. So it's a lot harder to connect and feel like that muscle's moving. So using movement patterns and execution setups that allow you to be able to feel that muscle is a huge role in building a good back. It's not about just moving weight around. It's about really connecting, squeezing whichever part of your back you're focused on, and then progressing the load from there, not just worrying about how much weight can I put on the bar over last week. In my full off season, when we were really pushing the envelope, I got the 262, and then I got the flu first, and then I got COVID a few weeks ago. That's the world of having a toddler. But I lost some weight, so we were trying to gain a little bit of it back, re-solidify. We'll go straight from, we started last week with the miniature push-up, and then May, we'll start the cut into the show in August and do the Texas Classic, or whatever it is that's with the Texas Pro. I think it's Texas Classic. It's something like that. The difference between a row here and the row we started with is this is going into more lat. So I'm doing it unilateral, meaning one side at a time, so that I can position myself so that elbow can travel really tight to my body, and I can push my hand down, flexing on lat. Versus over there, elbow is traveling this way. Now, with my hand braced here, I can still focus on opening up a bit before I drive back down, as long as I'm not driving from pulling back into my shoulder when we get to the bottom. Joe, that got heavy fast. When you do individual sides, like I was telling Brett, like a unilateral movement, if I do one side and I rush into the other, it's just gonna make that second side a lot harder, have less energy, probably lose some reps, maybe not be able to use the same amount of weight. So take time, you don't have to wait 2-3 minutes, but 30, 45, 60 seconds, and then roll again. So they're going to be coming out on Monday. There's 3 colors, black, gray, and this seafoam. It's just a saying that I came up with that kind of resonated with me. It seems to have resonated with a lot of other people, because it applies to so many areas of life. So it's success requires sacrifice. It doesn't matter what you're doing in life. If you want to be really successful at it, there's going to be things that you have to sacrifice. So over the last 12 whatever years it's been of bodybuilding, it's been a slow progression of, like, when everyone else was going out and partying, I was working, I was lifting, I was eating, sleeping, recovering, learning, like giving up the short-term fun for long-term gain, you know, and like, you're gonna get made fun of. People are gonna think you're crazy. I was told forever, like, people laughed at me constantly. I'd carry my six-pack bag around, and people would tell me that, oh, you got your lunchbox with you? Like, yeah, I got it. And you know, you can give into that, and you can kind of go along with the norm and do whatever everybody else is doing because they're making fun of you, or you can stick by what it is you know you want to do. And I've known that I'm not going to be a hunter, right? I'm not going to be an Olympian, but I love bodybuilding. And I've been able to turn myself into something that looks completely different than 10 years ago. And I've been able to make connections and grow myself as an individual and an entrepreneur by going against what everybody else is doing, by putting in work when no one else was, you know, and doing the thing that set my heart on fire, not just a temporary, like, let's go have fun, you know? So, a little saying I came up with, they'll be dropping on Monday. I've got all 3 colors they're all oversized. So typically what I tell people, it depends on how baggy you want it. So in a regular t-shirt, I'll wear a 2X. I wanted it baggy, so this is a 3X. So you can kind of base that off yours. Like if you wear a large, you want it really baggy, go extra large. If you want it just a little loose, go with your regular size. As we get bigger, especially when you're really strong, pressing, trying to get overhead is hard. It's like, for me to get directly overhead, I have to lift my chest and do all this other stuff. But here, with that angle, it matches right where my arm wants to go. So it's just super easy. The difference here, we started off with a single arm variation at the beginning. Now I'm gonna come back and do another neutral grip, so it's still lats, but the position is different. So this one is actually a little different than the one that we have at Destination. So the one at Destination, typically when I'm doing a neutral grip pull down, both arms are pulling on one machine. So this is 2 separate arms, so I could technically do this if I fucking wanted to. But typically with like the other machines, I'm using both arms so I can get some extra output, bilateral versus doing everything unilateral like I've done. Same execution as the single arm variation. So neutral spine, chest tall, driving elbows to knees. It's just both arms instead of one. The tendency is to get here and lift the chest because it gives you the sensation of a short lat. Because, I mean, you are shortening it by collapsing the spine, but not shortening it in a manner where we're loading it and making it grow. By arcing and lifting up, I'm actually taking away from actually getting my lat fully shortened, which is where we want to get to grow. Fuck, I got heavy fast. It's different when they're individual. I'm used to the other machine that's both together at the same time. So finishing out with some rear delts. I like doing rear delts on pull day or shoulder day, whatever. But I like it with pull day because we've already worked them. They're already a little worn out. We can just come finish them off right quick. This is also another area where I can work on opening up my shoulder blades. So like we talked about with the chest pad, when I get on here, get my hands on the bar, this is where my shoulders would be just naturally putting my arms in front of me. We can set ourselves in a position to where our rear delt is the thing that's actually moving the load, so it can now progress and grow. The trap should just follow through and assist by keeping the shoulder in position and not exploding. The thing that people forget when it comes to building a round shoulder in any poses is rear delts. So most people will do their heavy presses, do all the lateral variations, and then half-ass their rear delt work, not realizing that the rear delt and side shots, front shots, like, and in so many different poses, creates the illusion of a full round 3D delt, right? Because my side delt's here and sweeps under. The rear delt is nice and full. It'll actually help push out that side delt more. So if you have a slumped shoulder and is not round and full, it might not just be a side delt issue. And you might not just need to add width. You may need to add some depth to the rear delt. So while Jordan's posing, if we think about what he just trained, he's now having to open up his shoulder blades, get them to pull apart. Even though he's not showing that right now, it still has to happen in order for him to get in the right position and show the stuff that he needs to. So this will show it even better. Like if he goes into his back double or rear lat. So see now how much that can open up? And now he takes that chest supported row that we were doing where he was opening up under tension, and now he can probably feel that scapula more, huh? Yeah. So now he can push that open. He doesn't have to think about this. All he has to think about is pushing that scapula open. Everything else kind of falls into place. Now he can open up more into that back double. Open up, open up. There you go, good. Yeah, see? That just opened up all that shit right there. And you feel like you can pose a lot better?
Oh yeah, dude,
Fuck
I can sit in that forever.
Yeah, so like, You don't have to make it this complicated thing. Like, if you need to roll, you need to roll. If you need to use a Theragun, you need to use a Theragun if it helps. But like, use that stuff and then do your movements in a manner where we can now support the loosening of that tissue, right? Because if you don't work on the other side, like if you just hammer the tissue with a foam roller or a Theragun, you're gonna open it up, but then you go do the shitty movement pattern again, guess what happens? It cramps right back up. Now you're like, oh, I'm still in pain.
Help this much of the tissue.
Exactly.
The muscle tissue's this long.
So then if we loosen it and then go reinforce it with the right movement patterns, we don't have to like be held together with duct tape, right? Which is,
or these 20,000 therapy sessions.
Exactly, and that's what the duct tape is. Like every bodybuilder relies on like, oh, I've got my tissue guy. I see him every week, and it's like, okay, do you need to do that? Or could you just tweak your training a little bit, tweak the execution, let the weights do what it's supposed to?
Your body's capable of squatting 6 plates, and it's without pain.
Right.
If it's moving correctly.
Right. It's like, don't force adaptations. Put yourself in the position and then allow everything to kind of move with it, right?
Honestly, I've enjoyed it because it made me lift lighter. And now I'm like, holy shit, look at all this room to progress now.
But like, see, it's something I said the other day is like, when people hear failure training, they immediately equate it to heavy.
Yes.
Right? Everyone goes, oh, I gotta train fucking like, I gotta, like, it doesn't have to be shit your pants weight. Like, rep ranges are arbitrary. If we are feeling the muscle and we're taking it to failure, it could be a 10-pound weight. If you're taking it to failure, it's gonna make progress.
I guarantee you, the clip Chris has of you on the road, if all he did was the set and didn't show the weight, and I told them that there was 10 plates on there,
they believe it. Yeah, 100%. 100%. It's more about what you can create from the movement. Like, I can make a lightweight heavy, so why would I not?
Exactly.
If I can make that lightweight heavy with the right execution, I can actually get the tissue that I'm wanting to hit grow.
Minimal effective dose.
Right. Exactly. Pull day done. Weekend out in Houston, so drop by the Labrada HQ to get on some of the cool pieces, hang out with the Labrada Pro Series homies, and just get out of my usual routine. Like, subscribe, share with your friends, give me some feedback, let me know what you guys think and what you want to see in the future.